welcome back to another reaction video, and today I'll be reacting to another animated story, and this one is called My Mom is Jealous of Me Because I'm Very Pretty. Okay, I've never read this story before, so gonna get straight into it, and don't forget to subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a video when I upload, and smash that like button. And let's see how this goes.
Hi, my name is Andrea. Throughout our lives, we encountered many people who are jealous of us for various reasons. For me, it was, unfortunately, my mother. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. She never liked me because she was jealous of how pretty I was. When I was 13, Mom was taking me on a train somewhere. We changed cities and jobs often, sometimes in less than a year. Oh, and there was one other thing. She had never told me who my dad was. At the train station, this lady came up to me when Mom had just left to buy snacks and asked if I'd ever thought about modeling. When I shook my head, she gave me a card and explained that she was a talent manager and saw potential in me. I'd been called pretty before. I was very attractive also. When Mom saw her with me, she snatched the card away from the woman and asked,
Okay, that woman is weird, first of all. The woman that would like giving her the card, she's weird.
what I was doing with her. I tried to explain, but she was too angry. She literally pushed the woman aside, grabbed my hand, and marched away. When we got to the train, she asked me if I had told the woman anything about me. I shook my head and said, she only wanted to ask me if I wanted to model. You're not even pretty enough to be a model, Mom said. But I knew this just wasn't true, as I've heard many people tell me I was the prettiest girl they'd ever seen. Mom was so mean. From that day onwards, she made me dress in baggy clothes, 3 sizes bigger than me, and didn't let me get a decent haircut. She always insisted on cutting my hair extremely short.
Okay, that does not make any sense because it doesn't matter what clothes or how your hair looks. It's about your beauty, okay? It's not about what type of clothes you wear. So that mom is doing the wrong thing. She thinks her daughter is gonna be ugly when she gives her different clothing.
So my bangs had never actually grown past my shoulders, and I had uneven bangs. She never even let me buy makeup, not even lip gloss. I was the only girl who went to school without any makeup. She didn't even let me have my own phone or have any presence on social media. With the ugly clothes Mom wore, she was hardly noticeable. Sometimes I would catch her looking out the window with tears in her eyes, but when I asked her about it, she never said anything. But even though I dressed like a total homeless person, boys huddled around my locker to get my number just to talk to me.
Okay, you see what I mean? It doesn't matter what you wear. Come on.
Some of the girls envied me while others wanted to be my friend, but it was for all the wrong reasons. They thought they would get more popular if they stuck with me, but those friendships didn't last when they realized that I rarely left my home during the weekends because of my strict mother. In my sophomore year, a senior guy named Daniel asked me to the town ball. He was a football player. A few of the girls in my class were jealous of me since getting invited was a big deal as it was a televised event with news coverage. They told me not to bother going to the dance since I couldn't afford a nice dress anyway. I knew this was true, but I had always been good at creative things. I quickly looked up tutorials on sewing and then went down to the local thrift store and bought meters of lace and satin among other things. The next few weeks, I was cooped up in my room trying to finish my dress. I started daydreaming about it and picturing myself having it on. For once in my life, I would have something pretty to wear. I didn't have appropriate shoes, so I knew I had to borrow one of my mom's. I sneaked up to the attic where I knew she kept her things locked away and started looking for shoes. I picked up what I thought was a shoebox, but inside there were a bunch of photographs, many of them of my mother. I was surprised to see the pictures, as my mom appeared to be around my age, and she looked a lot like me now in those pictures. In some of them, she was with a guy, and I wondered if it was my dad. Over time, her beauty had faded, and she did nothing to care for herself either. I kind of figured out why she was jealous of me. I found a pair of silver shoes I liked, and wondered how she could manage to buy it as
Okay, she needs to fix the clothes back up. She was scattering everything all over the place just looking for a shoe, and she didn't clean it back up. Just wait until her mom needs a pair of shoes and she goes up to the attic and starts looking at the place, it's a mess. Like, she needs to fix that. Cause if she go oh, like if she goes up there and like see all of those like clothing on the floor and stuff, she's definitely gonna know that someone was up here, and she's definitely think it's gonna be you because you're the only person I see in the story. I think you and your mom live alone, by the way, so yeah, she's gonna think it's you. So let me get out of the way now. Okay.
Looked quite expensive. The day of the dance came around, and I woke with the biggest smile on my face, but it was replaced by a shriek when I noticed my dress. Someone had cut it in various places. The satin was
Okay, her mom did that. Her mom did that, first of all. Let me.
mangled and torn, and there was no way I could fix this disaster. My beautiful dress was ruined, but I immediately knew who had done it. I went to my mom and demanded answers. She didn't even try to deny it. I burst into tears. I had daydreamed about that dance for weeks now, and my mother had crushed my dreams so cruelly. If you go to the dance, they will recognize you, she said. This confused me. Who will? I asked in confusion, but she didn't reply. She looked around shiftily and her eyes kind of narrowed and she looked almost paranoid. I texted Daniel to let him know that I wouldn't be able to make it to the ball. I was extremely surprised when he showed up at my door later that night. He told me that it didn't feel right taking someone else there when he had set his heart on me. My heart melted at
Oh, that was sweet. See, it's not about the clothes you wear, like, come on.
his words. I started spending more and more time with
As long as you have a good heart and your personality is on point, and you know, like, yeah, that's all that matters. Come on now.
Daniel. He kissed me for the first time on my 16th birthday. It was truly magical. I was absolutely head over heels in love with him, but my mother couldn't stand seeing me happy for too long. She had forbidden me from dating anyone, so I had to lie about it.
Okay, her mom needs to get herself fixed. If she's not gonna take care of herself, she needs to get it fixed. So come on. Let your daughter live your life. Live her life. Sorry about that. Yeah, like, you need to take care of yourself if you want to look beautiful. I don't see anything wrong with that.
He stopped me from going out many times and ruined my dates with Daniel, but I persisted and I would sneak out when she didn't know any better. One night, after one of Daniel's football games, we went out to dinner. He had invited some of his other friends, and they in turn had brought their girlfriends along. One of the girls made a video of me singing and uploaded it to TikTok. Overnight, I went viral as the pretty karaoke girl. Unfortunately, Mom too eventually found out. When I came home from school that day, she asked me to explain the video and
Okay, first of all, guys, please do not mind the noises in the background. And yeah, first of all, I'm getting tired of this mother in this story. She's awful. Come on, she's so disgusting.
I couldn't hide the truth any longer. I told her everything. She looked almost afraid. But why? She started scolding me, but I couldn't understand what I had done to set her off like that. Eventually, I just couldn't take it anymore. Can you not be jealous of me for once? At that point, she completely shut up and locked herself in her room. That night, I heard her crying from her room. I felt guilty, but I also knew that it was time that I took a stand for myself. I wasn't too bothered to talk to her as school kept me busy. I was getting used to my school life with Daniel becoming a big part of it. But my happiness was quickly cut short when Mom announced that we would be moving away yet again. I begged her countless times not to do it and even deleted the TikTok on her demand. But she refused to listen to me. I had no choice but to leave my old life and Daniel behind. I reluctantly settled into the new town with Mom, but I still miss Daniel. Right then, I decided I would save enough.
Okay, I think word is not the word for this. Her mom is crazy. And she's very wicked. She's very crazy and wicked. Like, come on.
Money, and once I was an adult, I will definitely leave Mom. To get my mind off Daniel, Mom allowed me to get a job at the mall. One day when I was working, an older man in an expensive suit walked up to me. He looked familiar for some reason. Have I seen you somewhere before? He asked. I shook my head no. He stared at my face for a few minutes before he left the store. The next day, he showed up again. He had kind eyes and a charming smile, but then things took a weird turn as he began to ask more and more personal questions. He asked me where I went to school and where my mom worked, and even our house address. I was growing more and more suspicious. I decided to tell Mom about it, and she freaked out. She caught me by my arm and said, "What exactly did you tell him?" I said, "Calm down, Mom. Geez, I know better than to trust strangers." As if on cue, there was a knock on the door. Mom and I looked at each other as the knocks became more persistent until someone was literally banging on the door. I had never seen my mother frightened like this. She told me to head upstairs and hide in the bathroom, but instead I stood behind the staircase landing. The door opened, and to my surprise, it was the same man from the store. They spoke for a few moments before the man demanded to see me, but my mother refused. "I have every right to see my daughter. You took her away from me without my consent or knowledge," he yelled. I gasped.
Oh, that's her dad. Oh, I forgot that she went into the attic for the shoes and she saw the pictures of her mom with somebody, and that picture her mom was like with another guy, and that guy looked just like that person at the door. So if you go back, you will see what I'm talking about.
In shock. After all those years of trying to figure out who my father was, he was actually here. I realized that I had seen his pictures with my mom in the shoebox.
Okay, there you go.
I stepped out of my hiding place and Dad smiled at me, asking if I wanted to go with him. I nodded yes, with tears streaming down my face. I was finally reunited with my father, but my jealous mother tried to block my way. "You can't go with him." I was angry. "You lied to me about everything," I yelled. "You're just jealous of me because I get to go live with Dad and you don't." I went to my room and packed my clothes and other stuff. I was finally free of my evil, jealous mom. When I left with my dad, to my surprise, she didn't try to stop me. Dad told me that he had been trying to track us down for years, but for the longest time, he thought we were dead. But then he realized me from my TikTok video because of how much I resembled Mom when she was a teenager. He explained that he had followed me home from the store today to figure out where I lived. We drove for a few hours before pulling up to this huge mansion. It was true. My father was a rich man. He showed me around and told me I could have any room I wanted. I was on cloud 9. This was the life I had always dreamt of, one with a loving parent and no hardships. We had a large
I'm glad that she's living with her dad now. Her mom is very crazy.
pool in the backyard where I swam in the afternoon. The food was amazing, and I could eat to my fill. Besides, I had my own walk-in closet and vanity. Basically, everything Mom never let me have. I asked Dad what he did for a living, and he said he had a big business empire. I wondered why Mom had left him in the first place. Since growing up, we never had money. Besides,
I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna do something. I'll be back. I'm back. Sorry about that, but I'm back. Let's continue.
never had money. Besides, Dad was so nice. I asked him about it, and he said that he was about to divorce her, so she took away the one thing he loved, me. I asked my dad when I could return back to school since I missed having people my age around. He told me he didn't want me out of his sight and that I would be homeschooled instead. I was disappointed to hear it. I tried to contact Daniel, but my dad caught me texting and told me I wasn't allowed to date boys yet. Sometimes, Dad would disappear for hours, leaving me at the big mansion all by myself. He was always busy with work. There were servants to take care of me, but I always felt lonely. Mom didn't try to contact me. Sometimes, I couldn't help but wonder what she was up to. She couldn't have just disappeared from my life. One day, I decided to go for a walk outside the mansion, and none of the servants were around to stop me. As I walked down the street, suddenly someone grabbed my arm. When I turned around, I was surprised to see that it was my mother. She looked like a crazy person. She caught my wrist and tried to drag me away.
That's because she is crazy. What don't you get in that?
Screamed. A servant heard me and came running. When I turned around, Mom had already disappeared. When Dad came home, I told him everything. He was angry and scolded me for going out alone where I wasn't safe. When he saw how upset that made me, he apologized. Later, he came to me with some papers and told me to sign it. He said he was officially taking my custody, so Mom couldn't hurt me again. I was so happy that I signed away the papers without reading them. It's true that Dad wasn't perfect, but living with him was way better than living with Mom. A few nights later, I went
And that's a fact. Okay.
downstairs to drink water when I saw my dad in his study, but he wasn't alone. He was speaking to another man, and what he said made my blood run cold. He was ordering them to kill my mother. Apparently, she had gone into hiding after he brought me home, and he was trying to lure her out. None of it made any sense to me. Why would he want to kill Mom? They saw me outside the door, and before I could run away, Dad seized me. That's when I saw his true face for the first time. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. He didn't answer me and instead dragged me to my room where he snatched my phone. "Call your mother now," he demanded, "and ask her to meet you at this address." I had no choice. I dialed Mom's number. When she picked up, I kept my voice neutral. "Mommy, can you come pick me up at this address? I ran away from Dad. I know he's evil," I said. "Are you okay, Andrea?" she asked. "Yeah, I am. I love you, Mom." With that, I disconnected. Dad gave me an evil smile. He knew he had won. He locked me in my room while he
Damn, that face was ugly though. He's ugly.
and his friend left the house. I watched them drive away knowing that they were going to hurt my mom. I waited for hours and hours when finally the door opened. I expected Dad to come in covered in blood, but instead it was Mom. I rushed to her, hoping she wasn't a hallucination. She looked completely fine. "Are you okay, Mommy?" She nodded. "You've never said I love you to me before." That tipped me off that something was wrong. We went downstairs where a police car was waiting outside. Dad and his associate were handcuffed inside. Mom explained everything. She told me that she was the daughter of a rich man, and after she had married my dad, she had found out that he had only married her for her property. He was actually an evil businessman capable of even murder, and he wanted to be done with her as soon as he had the will signed to his name. But it turned out my grandfather had left all the property to me. In fact, that was why Dad had wanted me to sign those papers. Mom knew she had to protect me from Dad, so she ran away with me when I was a baby. She also knew that he was very powerful and sooner or later he would find us. That was the reason why we had to move from one place to another frequently, and she always made sure I was dressed shabbily so I would avoid detection in case Dad was still looking for us. I testified against Dad, and he was sent away to prison for a very long time. Mom and I still have our differences, but I now knew that whatever she did, it was only because she loved me and wanted to save my life.
Aww, that's a sweet part. She's crazy, but she's a good mom, okay? Her dad is crazy. Anyways, that was a good story, and hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a video when I upload, and smash that like button. I love you all, and anyways, this story was kind of weird, I would say, because I didn't understand it in the first part when he was like in the attic looking at the shoes and the pictures and stuff. But anyways, it was okay. Let me know in the comments down below which other videos I should react to, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.